begin our exploration of the elements of revolution with our first lane, strategic communication, or as we like to call it, journalism is activism. We sat down with Flatwater Free Press reporter Chris "Baby Boy" Bowling and U.N.T.A.M.E.D founder Sherman Wells to explore the Fourth Estate, the current state of journalism, and the people's fight to have their voices heard.
The Fourth Estate is the press. It is an independent voice that checks, whatever the government is telling us, whatever the people in power are telling us. You have to have people that are independently checking if things are going the way they're supposed to, if money is being spent the way that it's supposed to, if there are people that are, getting hurt or, put aside, in the interest of helping other people. I mean, it's very important for just the health of a good society.
I believe the Fourth Estate is definitely being attacked, is being suppressed. If you don't go along with the system of what the information that they're putting out, then they will shut you down or attempt to shut you down. But luckily, we're in an era where you can post on multiple platforms to get yourself going. So I think the Fourth Estate is definitely under attack and being suppressed. But it's very important that we continue to do what we do because the news won't report it the way we want it to. Local, national, we have to be able to report it and not be afraid to tell the truth. Report it, even if it is going against what we believe is the system or the way to do it. So
I would say that when you have a president who is openly hostile to the press, who sues newspapers, TV stations, and all that, that is not good. When you have TV stations and some press that, bends to the president's will, that's even worse. At the same, and legacy corporate media has gone down a lot. We see that in Omaha. The Omaha World Herald is much smaller than it used to be. There are things, on a daily basis that would have been covered like crazy, 10, 15 years ago, and now nothing gets covered.
Recent attacks on media outlets and their willingness to bend to political pressure and corporate interest has caused millions of Americans to lose trust in traditional media. However, for some, it has always been difficult to trust mainstream media outlets, often feeling like their voices were pushed to the margins or silenced altogether. The lack of diversity in newsrooms and production teams has indirectly created what we call the master narrative.
Yeah, traditional media, I've seen them interview people and come to their house or come to the spot and do the interviews and then don't never do the story. So traditional media still has to follow the rules of the system. And so they have limits, I believe, on what they can say and what they can report on or what they want to report on. And you actually have reporters who have a soul and a spirit to want to do it. So they'll show up and think they can do the story, but then they're suppressed by their people at the head of that media company, where most of them will quit. They'll start their own stuff, or they'll go into a different place where they can feel more able to report what they want to, because spiritually and human emotion is going to outweigh that job. And so when they can't report on what they believe is the truth, some of them will leave.
I don't think so. I think that structural racism exists, and we live in a society that has, has been built on that, and it still in some way runs on that, or at least the, exhaust fumes of that. Probably not the exhaust fumes, but you know what I mean. So it informs a lot of things about how our society works. As far as the media with a capital M is hard for me to understand, because I am my own individual person. I try to do the stories that I think are right. I try to not do harm. I try to listen to people and all that sort of stuff. So, I've never worked for CNN. I don't think that people in CNN get in a boardroom and say okay, how can we oppress this one group of people? I don't think it's quite that direct. But I think that there is, like, let's take the situation in like Israel and Gaza, for example. We want to get into some light subject matter, but I think that the term genocide has been really like, they don't want to go there. It's been used more and more, but the standards of like how they report on things they make it complicated for them to like just say like that word. But also, I mean, if it was the reverse situation and this was happening to white people, would they use that word? I don't know. So,
yeah, of course. Especially when you talk about black people, the master narrative is we are the thieves, we're the criminals. And then that stuff kind of started way back when they started programming us with Boys in the Hood and South Central, and we have to be this certain way, colors. They pre-programmed us to be that because then it helps grow their businesses, right? The mortuary business, the police business, the jail business, it helps grow those things. So they put us psychologically in those lanes to keep their businesses going, and then also to keep the attention off of the stuff that they do, which is really destroying the world, and to keep us from understanding that when we were together, we conquered. We built things that they still question today, like, how did these build this stuff? So, yeah, man, it's a crazy narrative pushed on us, and it's still happening today. I think more people are, because of the communication and social media, we're able to disseminate some of this stuff. But yeah, man, it's bad. But I think that we as enlightened people, spiritual people, I think the more we live in our spiritual self, our self-love, we'll come back to what we were before, which was the people with the power. We definitely got it. It's just, I feel like we under a punishment because we don't follow our spiritual selves. Look at our people, man. They did amazing things, but they were spiritually in tune.
The salvation of the state is watchfulness in a citizen. The phrase is still etched above the entrance of Nebraska State Capitol, a concept that is old as the nation itself, a concept that was cemented into the foundation of the Constitution under the First Amendment. 250 years later, that idea lives on as communities across the nation turn to social media and content creation to amplify their voices.
Oh, I mean, communities absolutely should have their own voice. I think the most powerful stories come from when people who know the areas that they live in or whatever cultural subgroup, they make up, can speak for themselves and speak in a way that will connect with people who are actually living it. So it's incredibly important that people have their own, outlets to tell their stories.
Man, I believe it's very important for the community to have their own voice because nobody can tell the story of the community like the community. Somebody involved in the community, somebody connected to the community, a cousin, uncle, brother, son, sister, mother, father. It got to be somebody from that community to tell that story. So it's very, very important for us to have our own, like Jahi say, talking boxes of people that can report on what we are going through, what we're going through collectively, and how to solve it, because it ain't just about the complaints, it's about the resolutions too.
Next episode, we will continue our exploration of strategic communication with a look at Flatwater Free Press and U.N.T.A.M.E.'s Sermons with Sherman, a couple of local platforms that are challenging narratives and speaking truth